Oh yes, and it's another story time by me, by Braggy, and today's story is a story about a witch from Tavistock near Darkmoor in England, in the south. Once upon a time, in the old days of England, when the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings ruled, there was a witch. In this case, she was an old lady. Nobody knew she was a witch, but is often the way with witches. And this old lady, well, she had a grandson, and they both lived in an old, tatty longhouse next to a moor of heath, of heather. Like most people in the Viking age and the medieval times, she was very poor, had hardly any coin, and made a bit of income through selling eggs and shooting a few rabbits and hares, selling a few skins to people, making a bit of food to sell at market. And one day, it was late in the month. The moon was at its highest. It was a full moon. It was high in the sky. And the old woman woke up suddenly out of her bed. And she called for her grandson and said, "Grandson, you must come here." And the grandson got out of bed very quickly and said, "What is it, grandmother?" He said, "Well, you must go and tell the local witch man, the local lord, the earl, that the hare is on the moor." And of course, doing his grandmother's wishes, he got his breeches on, his trousers and his basic shoes, and he ran off in a cloak and a tunic to his local earl's, his local lord's estate. And he came to the enclosure. He knocked on the gate and said, "You must let me in, for my grandmother has awoken, and she has said that the hare is loose on the moor. And your earl, the lord, would want to know. He loves to go and hunt." And so the guard on the gate let the boy in, and again he knocked on the door of the longhouse, and a guard entered. The boy, he ran through the courtyard. There was animals, cows and sheep, and outbuildings. This lord was very rich. He had a lot of coin, a lot of wealth and a lot of land, and he loved to hunt. Hunting was his passion. And he ran up to the door of the longhouse, the great hall, and he knocked, and the guard opened the door. And he says, "I must tell my earl, the lord, that the hare is loose on the moor. The moon is out." And again the guard goes and tells the lord, and the lord says, "Quickly, you must go and saddle my horses and call out the men." And the lord, the earl, he goes onto the moor to go and hunt the hare. And in the distance, the men and the lord, they see the hare running about on the moor, on the heath and the heather, jumping up, having a life of a hare. And again they go and try to chase the hare. But the hare's clever and manages to get away into a woodland, a thick wood. Some time passes, a couple of months. And again, it is late in the month, when the moon is full in the sky. And the old wise woman, she wakes up and shouts, "Grandson, the hare is on the move, is on the loose, and you must go and tell the lord, the earl." And so, again, the boy puts his trousers on, his breeches, his leather shoes, grabs a cloak and a tunic, and quickly runs off. He's going that fast, he's dressing as he goes. His tunic on and his cloak and running. And he goes up to the enclosure of where the earl has his land. And he knocks, and this time the guard knows him. "Oh, it's you again, it's 2 in the morning. All right, I'll go and tell the lord, the earl, that the hare is on the loose." And of course, the lord, the earl, finds out. Quickly, he is on horse with his men, riding into battle to go and hunt the hare. But again, the hare is too clever, and the hare manages to escape. No matter how many times the earl tries to shoot the hare with an arrow, or one of his men to stab it with a spear, it does not achieve target, and the hare escapes. Some time passes again. By this time, the earl has probably forgotten about his failure in hunting the hare. And again, the old woman suddenly wakes up it is 1 in the morning. And she says, grandson, grandson, the hare is on the loose, and the moon, the full moon, is in the sky. And so he knows what to do. By the time, I told you this, he's already at the Earl's house, knocking on the door, the great hall. He goes in, he says, my lord, my Earl, the hare is on the loose, and the moon is high in the sky. Again, the horses are made ready, and the Earl sets off to ride, to go and hunt the hare. And this time, one of the men manages to shoot an arrow into the leg. And they think, they got the hare, but the hare still manages to get away. Well, disappointed is not the word to be said here for the Earl. He's gutted. He thought, I got the hare this time, or one of my men has. I would have paid him silver, even gold, to have killed that hare. But something strange happened. The next day, one of the locals of the village came up to the Earl and said, took his hat off as he do, making his hair all messy. He said, my lord, he says, the old lady who's been telling you about the hare, she has a serious wound in her leg and a limp. Now, we all know what that means, don't we? And if you don't, I'll tell you. The Earl knew straight away. The Earl knew the lord of the manor, of the land around. He knew that this lady was in fact a witch. Ha 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 ha! Oh yes, and so she was summoned to come and see the Earl. And I'm sure you agree that being a witch in the medieval times was a bad thing to be. Oh yes. The Lord had summoned the old lady, thinking that, he was going to put her to death, because that was often the penalty for witches. But the grandson and villagers pleaded on her behalf. You must not kill this old woman, for she is very wise, and we will miss her. And of course, the grandson said, this is the only relative I've got. If you kill my grandmother, I'd have no one left. And so, the Earl, the Lord, he decided to show pity on the old lady, but under one condition, that never again would she transform herself into a hare and practice witchcraft. And the old lady said, well, that's actually 2 conditions. And the Earl said, don't you be smart with me. The end of the story. Leave a comment, share the video, and of course, like this axe, leave a comment. Thumbs up. Can't think anymore. Time to go.
Welcome to Northworthy Sagas and Stories. Please watch our videos and feel free to leave a comment. Please subscribe and also click on the notification bell. Thank you for watching.